Rain poured over the cracked asphalt outside the roadside diner, each drop echoing against the flickering neon sign that read Misty's Cafe, open all night. Inside, a young waitress named Lena wiped the counter with trembling hands. Her wrists bore the faint marks of a hard life, burns from hot plates, scars from broken glass, and the invisible wounds of being unseen in a world that only noticed when it wanted to take. That night she thought she was alone, but fate, cruel and strange, was about to test her in the darkest way imaginable, because in the next few minutes her scream would pierce through the rain, and a gang of Hell's Angels sitting in the corner booth would look up, their eyes cold, focused, and ready to decide what kind of men they really were. Before the story unfolds, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Be Kind TV, where every story reminds us that kindness, courage, and justice still exist in a broken world. Story begins. Lena had been working double shifts for months. Her mother's hospital bills were piling up, and the diner's tips weren't enough to even buy the medicine. But she smiled through it all. The kind of fragile smile that says, "I'm okay," when she's really just surviving. It was nearly midnight when a black Harley roared into the parking lot. Its engine thundered through the rain, sending shivers up Lena's spine. The rider, tall, tattooed, and reeking of whiskey, pushed open the door. The diner's small bell jingled, announcing his entrance like a warning. His eyes, wild and bloodshot, scanned the empty diner before landing on Lena. "Coffee," he grunted, slamming a few damp bills onto the counter. Lena nodded, forcing a polite smile. "Sure thing, sir." Her hands shook as she poured. The man's gaze didn't leave her. It crawled over her skin like fire. She placed the cup in front of him, and before she could step back, he grabbed her wrist. "Pretty thing like you shouldn't be here alone this late," he slurred. "You never know what kind of man might walk in." Lena tried to pull away, but his grip tightened. The smell of sweat, smoke, and menace filled her nose. "I said let go," she whispered. He chuckled, a low growl. "Or what, you'll scream?" Then his fingers tore at the collar of her shirt, ripping the fabric in one savage motion. Her eyes widened. For a moment, the world stopped. Rain outside, clock ticking, coffee dripping, all silent except for her trembling breath. The man leaned closer. "Let's see who can save you now." The bikers in the corner at the far booth, under the dim red light, 4 men had been sitting quietly, leather vests, long beards, tattoos, and the unmistakable insignia, Hell's Angels. They weren't there for trouble. In fact, they'd promised their president they'd stay clean. They were traveling cross-country to pay respects to a fallen brother. But when Lena's shirt tore, the sound sliced through the diner like a gunshot. The leader, Tank, froze mid-sip. His blue eyes flicked up. The next second, his mug shattered against the table. "Ryder," he said quietly. The youngest biker looked up. "Yeah, boss? Handle it." The storm breaks before the drunk could even blink. The door behind him slammed shut. The 4 bikers stood, boots echoing against the tile. The air in the diner grew heavier, thicker with danger. Lena stumbled back, clutching her torn shirt. The tattooed man turned, his grin faltering. "What's this? Some kind of show?" Tank's voice was calm, too calm. "You just touched one of ours," the man sneered. "She's a waitress, man, ain't yours." Ryder cracked his knuckles. "Tonight she is." And then, chaos. The biker lunged, throwing a wild punch, but Ryder dodged easily. Tank grabbed the man's wrist, twisting it until a sickening snap echoed through the diner. Lena gasped as the stranger screamed, collapsing to his knees. Tank leaned down close, his voice low and venomous. "Say it again. Say, 'Let's see who can save you.'" "Go on," the man whimpered, clutching his arm. "Please." Tank's boot came down hard, once. The man crumpled. Ryder threw open the diner door, rain pouring in like justice from the heavens. "Get this trash out of here," Tank growled. They dragged the stranger outside, dumped him in the mud beside his fallen bike, and left him there, cold, broken, and silent. The aftermath inside, Lena stood shaking, tears streaming down her face. Tank turned to her, voice softening. "You all right, sweetheart?" She nodded weakly, trying to cover herself with her apron. I didn't think anyone would come." Tank pulled off his leather jacket, heavy, warm, smelling faintly of gasoline and rain, and draped it over her shoulders. "You're safe now." The simple kindness broke her. She collapsed against his chest, sobbing. He didn't move. He just stood there, a wall of quiet strength, letting her cry until the storm outside matched the storm inside her heart. When she finally looked up, her eyes red, she whispered, Why'd you help me? You don't even know me. Tank smiled faintly. We don't let wolves hunt in our territory. Doesn't matter if it's a road, a bar, or a diner. Morning comes hours later. Dawn crept across the highway, turning the wet asphalt silver. Lena brewed fresh coffee for the bikers as they sat at the counter, silent but peaceful now. She noticed a tattoo on Tank's arm, an angel's wing wrapped around a skull with a name inked beneath, Lucas. Was he someone you lost? She asked softly. Tank nodded. My boy. Died 2 years ago. Wrong place, wrong time. That's why we're heading to his grave. Lena's heart ached. I'm so sorry, he shrugged, eyes glinting with emotion. You just reminded me of him. Always trying to fix things that ain't her fault. Lena smiled weakly. Guess we both got ghosts, huh? Tank looked at her for a long moment, then reached into his vest and pulled out a small patch, the white and red Hell's Angels insignia. Keep it, he said. So next time some punk tries to scare you, show him this. It'll remind them that angels ride with you. She held it like a sacred thing. I don't know how to thank you. Tank grinned. You already did, sweetheart. You kept going. Months later, the diner changed after that night. New lights, repaired walls, a new sign, and Lena herself had changed too. There was no more tremor in her hands, no more fear in her voice, and sometimes, late at night, when she saw the reflection of motorcycles passing on the wet glass, she'd smile. Because she knew, somewhere out there on the road, were men with steel hearts and battered souls who still believed in doing right when no one else would. Before the ending, if this story touched your heart, take a second to like, comment, and subscribe to Be Kind TV. Every click helps us keep spreading stories of courage, kindness, and second chances.